Welcome into Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Stranger, sportsman of Houston. That's Joel Blank. You can hear him on the Killer Bees weekdays from noon to 3 on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Click like on this video. Hit subscribe on the channel. We appreciate the support. Hey, Joel, welcome in. Before the season, we highlighted this matchup. Pick number 1 versus pick number 2, Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Green. Now, in fairness, neither rookie has set the world on fire so far. Green's had some flashes of brilliance. Cunningham has missed some time, so it's really hard to judge them early on. Given all the hype surrounding these guys, though, are you surprised to see that the early returns show that both the Pistons and the Rockets could be contending for a top pick again?
I'm really not, Brandon. I think it's more disappointing if you're a Pistons fan because they had a good young nucleus a year ago. They looked like they were like a step and a half ahead of the Rockets on the rebuild process. They got one of the Rockets' best players from a year ago, Kelly Olynyk, and it looked like after a year in college that Cade Cunningham might be a little bit more ready for the NBA. But on the flip side, no matter where you're drafted and how you look in Summer League, when you play against grown-ass men every single night in the NBA that are paid and not on a scholarship, you're going to realize that they're coming at you and they're going to be physical and you're going to have to adjust and it's going to take some time, especially when you don't have a ton of talent around you. So it's not surprising to me that both guys have struggled. And the good thing is that I want to be clear, it doesn't mean they're not going to be great players. It just means that it takes time and there's no timetable when you're a kid that young trying to adjust to playing with adults in the physicality of the NBA. So I think that, you know what, the one thing that is surprising to me is that the pick after them, Evan Mobley of the Cavaliers, has adjusted better than either of the other two guys, and he was the most frail and looked like he was the least NBA ready, but he and the Cavaliers are actually playing great basketball.
Right, but as you said, it's a small sample size for all these guys, so we'll have to see what the long-term results yield. I want to talk about what you talk about a timetable in the process. Before we get into that, give us a word from Fitz Roofing.
Well, we love the people at Fitz Roof, and they're dedicated to Houstonians. They take care of you every step of the way, from the best products to the best ratings to the best warranties in the business. If you need anything done around your house, from a repair on a roof for your business or your home, a new roof, or maybe some work done around the house or a new fence in your yard, only one place to call. It's Fitz Roofing. They do a free, no obligation inspection. It costs you absolutely nothing. They just come out and tell you what they can do, and you can take the process from there. All you do is go to fitzroofing.com or call 832-521-3001. Fitz Roofing, making a difference one home at a time.
We've seen some feedback from fans that maybe overindulged on the Rockets' red Kool-Aid before the season. I think there was a lot of maybe overestimation as to where this team would be at this point. But it's probably healthy to remind everyone, including ourselves, that this is year 1 of a rebuild. They're not in the middle of a rebuild. They just started a rebuild. And while it sucks to lose, isn't this what you'd expect by all accounts from a team that's, in a multi-year rebuild? And they haven't even traded away Wall or Gordon yet, and Wall represents such a rather large portion of the payroll.
Yeah, it's a big transitional step for the Rockets. And if you want to make the comparison between the Rockets and the Texans, the one reason why the Rockets are so far ahead of the Texans is they have multiple players that have the ability to be built around as franchise-type players, which gives you a head start. The Texans don't have any of those, and the one guy they do have is their number one tradable asset to try and get them restarted on a rebuild. With Porter Jr. and Green, and then even Sengun and some of the other guys that they have guys that have the skill set of being potential big-time players in this league. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be a playoff team within a year or 2 years. You still have to take those bumps and grinds along the way and the growing pains that are going to be associated with it. The good news is though, you do have potentially multiple players that might turn into that guy, and that's what you want when you're trying to do a rebuild. The future is going to be really bright, and whether some of these guys Garuba, he might just turn into a defensive specialist that comes off your bench and maybe adds a three-pointer here or there. You need those players too. You see a Jayshawn Tate, a guy that everybody's kind of forgetting about because of the young guys that they've added to this team. Jayshawn Tate looks like he's getting better and better. You've got guys that are going to be role players, and you've got guys that potentially could be stars, but the good thing is you got players, and that's the first step in any rebuild going in the right direction.